Okay, how's it going, guys? Welcome back. We are back for another sort of video / podcast. We put it out to some of the members at CrossFit Kempton and CrossFit Dorabo and from NutriFundi, and we just asked them what they would like to hear from or what they would like to hear about. Obviously, we're in day 7 now, of our 21-day lockdown. I think a good point that Chanel had as well was we kind of out of the newness of it. The first couple of days was like it's new, and maybe exciting is not the right word, but it's like to some extent it's exciting because it's different to our normal life.
It's different.
But now we're reaching the point where it's like, okay, I'm getting a little bit frustrated.
Still got 2 weeks left.
2 weeks left.
Maybe more.
Yeah, it's getting very frustrating. So this is now actually when it starts becoming challenging. This is where it starts becoming challenging, more so than it was last week, even though if it was challenging last week. We're just going to chat about a couple of things, hopefully again to provide some value and to help you guys and just see how we're dealing with the current situation.
Well, how are you guys dealing with it from your side?
I'm frustrated.
Yeah, me too. I'm frustrated because I can't run. I want to just run. I got new running shoes. I can't run. It's really a big thing. My Garmin has been charged for the last 2 weeks. It's irritating me so much. So I'm frustrated, but I am training. I'm sort of on par with where I wanted to be. I skipped 1 day. Trying to work, trying to balance everything, but so far so good.
Good.
Yeah, likewise.
You?
It's frustrating. Can't do the normal thing.
Yeah. Training wise, I'm managing. I think for me, diet wise is the biggest problem. I'm not terrible, but obviously because we're not in that routine, it's just far too easy to pick and eat and all of that. Yeah, but okay, 100%. So we'll start with a training topic from Hildi, and he basically mentioned, I think he's struggling a little bit with regards to staying motivated. He says that he wakes up in the morning and it's okay, cool, we need to train at a certain time. We spoke about in our last sort of video, we said have a schedule and at 7 o'clock you're training, so that's when you train. Funny thing as well, Hildi, I haven't seen you on any of the live Zoom classes. That might help. Yeah. So, but anyway, look, just so you know, what we've discussed as well is we're all in the same boat. It doesn't matter how you're feeling or
doesn't make it any easier for anyone.
Yeah, I've had days where I sat and I just don't want to train. I don't want to train. So I think it's essential to have accountability to your discipline, to classes, or to someone else, and you kind of, help them or they help you. Like we spoke about last time, having an accountability buddy and just saying, messaging them, say, have a train.
Basically, how me and you do.
Yeah.
I hold you accountable, vice versa. I'm always asking you, did you train?
Yeah.
Like Matt said, I think it's very important that you pick somebody that you train with. Most of us at the box have a person that we link up with on every session.
Yeah.
That should be your accountability partner, isn't it?
Yeah. And I think
so John, from my side, I'm not a CrossFitter, well, a little bit, but not so much. But what I would say is just do one session. Just go out, do it. Tell yourself, I'm gonna train, I'm gonna try this for 1 minute. Set an alarm. If you don't feel well after the minute, then you stop. And I promise you're gonna wanna continue after that minute. That is something that we've seen with the running, because you were always scared. Well, without even lockdown, always scared. Maybe I'm sick, maybe this, maybe that. Go and run for a minute, go and train for a minute. If you don't feel well, it's fine. You're going to feel fine. I promise you'll continue. And then also I mentioned it a bit earlier, also saying that just take all your feelings in at the moment. I think we are locked in our houses, but then we are maybe sometimes losing a bit of our feelings with this. So after you did do your session, go and sit, go and feel what you are feeling. Are you feeling motivated? Are you feeling tired? How's your heart rate feeling? How's the sense of accomplishment? All of that. How's that? Take it in so that tomorrow, if you don't want to train, you think of that feeling again. Yeah. That is really something that, for a runner that you do every day, because we do the same thing every day. So that is something that I've learned with the running that I think a lot of people can use in this time with normal training.
Yeah, that's a good point. Same. Just being aware of how the training is making you feel. And I think it's okay as well, I think to some extent, to feel guilty not to train because we're potentially eating more, and that's so. Our emphasis on training is probably more important now. We should have more motivation to train because, firstly, we don't have anything else to do.
Yeah.
We don't have the excuse now of there's no time. But
I
I
think.
think.
Carry on, man.
No, I just think the biggest thing is just for you to be aware that it's tough. It's normal to feel demotivated and not want to train, especially with the weather being like the way it is. It's also when it's cold,
that's
it's just
also
harder.
played a big factor.
Yeah. But like Chanel said, once you start.
Yeah, and I think this is also, it's not only difficult for us people that are training for fun and training because we want to be healthy. I think it's difficult for everyone. If you look like at Gerda Steyn, which she won Comrades last year, I was looking on her Facebook and Instagram this morning. She's also battling. She's tiny. Yes. She's like a little small stick. And she's also doing all forms of cardio resistance stuff in her own small house. So it's not only us. I think it's important to look at, like, I don't want to say celebrities, but like the more famous people also, Yeah, and we are all in this together. We are all struggling. And I was like, really, look at Gerda Steyn's Facebook page and you can almost see on her face, she was supposed to go to Olympics. It's cancelled. So I think just see that, read that, and just understand that it's normal and then try and act on it.
Yeah, 100%. Me and Matt were talking the other day about I don't want to train. There's been days where I'm just like, man, I don't feel like training, and it's very easy to get lazy. But it comes down to my discipline, and I always put into focus on how am I going to feel after the training session. Like you said earlier, with regards to taking those feelings in, I always know that I'll feel a lot better after I train. So the feeling after training is always greater than the feeling before training. Before training, sometimes you don't want to train. You're not motivated. You're like, well, the weather's shitty outside. I've got to go to my garage. I don't have the ideal equipment. And sometimes if you just get it started, the feeling afterwards, you're not going to feel guilty, number one. And number two, you're going to feel a little bit better about yourself. So,
and hopefully that's like a rolling stone. And, once you start and get one session done, and then your second session, then your third session, you start to just get that good feeling every time. And then you want to train. It'll get easier, but you've got to get a few sessions strung together,
Then
and if all else fails, you train without a shirt in front of your mirror.
Yeah. We should all be, my brother-in-law put up a meme of something like, if we're all struggling to eat clean, we should all walk around in our underwear the whole day and see if you'll still go to the fridge as much. But just with regards to the training, so I feel like yesterday I didn't want to train, and I have set times, and we did say stay in routine as much as you can. But when we have our days where we don't feel like training, we're obviously not going to go that 8 o'clock time when we want to train, for instance. Right? I have a time, I know Matthew likes to train after his virtual class. I like to maybe chill a little bit, then train. And yesterday I didn't want to train, and it's okay to move your timeline a little bit further in the day. So a lot of us say, I'm going to train at 8. Don't feel like training at 8. Always still in bed. But that timeline can move along. You just go into the garage or outside on the strip. So I have times where I've always said with coaching and obviously the industry that we're in, my ideal time when I feel the best to train, and I think Matthew's the same, the best hour for me to train, I'd love to have the opportunity to train at 5:30 in the day. That's for me when I feel the
afternoon,
most that I want to train. And yesterday I didn't want to train, and I thought to myself, I feel like let me go train. I had done all my lazy stuff during the day, and I just got up and I did something that we enjoyed. So I don't know if you want to touch on that. Maybe not following the exact programming. Maybe sometimes do something that you enjoy doing as well.
I think we spoke about this as well. If you don't want to train, the best thing you can do is to try and find a workout or find movements that actually excite you. Everybody loves lifting. If you've got a barbell at home, we all like to clean or snatch or whatever. Whereas the class workouts now are predominantly dumbbells or kettlebells, single arm.
Intensity.
So if you kind of just feel like doing something, but you just don't feel like actually starting and doing it, just start thinking about snatching, or watch CrossFit videos, watch YouTube videos of guys lifting. That always helps. It motivates me. And find something that excites you, or movements that excite you, and just go do an EMOM. Do some power snatches as an EMOM. Maybe after that, you will actually feel like doing a nice high intensity workout. I think if anyone else wants anything, but I think in general, what we've kind of discussed now is it's okay to move your timeline, and I agree with that as well, because if you say I'm training at 8 and you don't end up training at 8, you don't want to feel like it's failed now and now you can't train because you didn't train at 8.
Right, the whole day off.
Yeah, it's okay to move that timeline a little bit based on when you feel good and when you want to train. But it comes down to discipline. If you're really struggling, even if it's 3 times a week, just pop onto one of our online classes, because there you've got faces and they're all training with you, and it really helps to motivate yourself. And then I think, like Chanel said as well, try and be conscious of what we feel and how we feel once we finish training.
And also, sorry, Matt, just something that I thought of now. What we sometimes do is in a normal training week, without having the lockdown and whatever, we do have race days. I mean, you're supposed to have a race day. So if you have been training now this is now day 7 or 8, or I can't even keep up, but let's say it's a week and you've trained every day now and you take a rest day, it's fine. But then enjoy your rest day. So it's the same as with the eating when we talk about the mindful eating. So I want to say mindful training and mindful resting. So instead of going out doing like okay, let me just do 5 minutes of this, and then I can say I train, whatever. Take a rest day, enjoy it, it's done. But then don't go and feel guilty the whole day because you took a rest day. It's normal to take a rest day, but then the next day you're in it, you're back into it, and
just
you
work out how you're 3 or 4 days in a row.
Yes.
Don't move the rest day on as well.
If you've only had your whole week of rest days, you might be in trouble now.
100%.
Okay, cool. I think, sorry, go.
No, carry on.
No, I was going to change on to, we've obviously got a training topic now. I think we can fire through a couple of nutrition topics, maybe a couple that we're not going to get into so much detail with, and then 1 or 2 that we'll explore a little bit more. But I think, so a couple of the things that the guys asked, supplementation during a time like this.
I don't think it's now the time to be taking extra supplements, unless you are someone that was supposed to be competing somewhere in some or other Olympics or something, and maybe there's still some competition for you. Yes, that's fine. If you can honestly say that your training is exactly the same like it was before the lockdown, honestly,
the same.
If you can tell me that, if you can show me videos that you are training like you did before lockdown, fine. If you can tell me your diet did not change at all, fine. But I don't think there's a lot of people like that out there. I think a lot of people's training definitely took a dip. I think we are eating differently, weird stuff, wrong things. I mean, that's going to happen. I'm a dietitian, and I'm also eating cookies and chocolates and stuff that we shouldn't be eating. That's because it's not a normal situation. So I don't think that it's maybe now the time to add extra supplements, a pre-workout, or this and a that, that's going to add extra calories to your diet and to your meal plan. And in the end, it's going to just, extra calories makes you fat. Doesn't matter where it comes from. If it's from this base supplement in the whole world, or if it's from chocolate, it's going to make you fat. So I think it's not something at the moment. If there's really a supplement that you want to add or you want to use, the only thing I would suggest at the moment is maybe a recovery protein shake. If maybe you are one of those people that feel like they can't eat after training, or maybe they feel nauseous or whatever, then I would suggest that a pure, normal, just basic whey protein. That's the only
and I suppose if your diet throughout the day, if you feel like you reaching for cookies and carbs and stuff, it probably will benefit you to supplement with a little bit of protein as well.
Yes. So I think a protein shake could be used as a snack as well, but I honestly don't think a lot of people are having problems with snacking at the moment. I think everyone is doing it.
And it could help with the sweet tooth craving a little bit as well, to maybe prevent us from eating some chocolate.
So definitely, I think then just make sure that you just do one of the two, and not doing the biscuits and the cookies as well as the protein shake.
I think I always find it, sorry.
Go, Matt.
No, I always find it funny when guys, it's like that whole funny joke of going to McDonald's and, you order Big Mac, extra large, this, and then you want to Diet Coke. okay, obviously, you know, you're still reducing the amount of calories you're taking, but like, why focus now during this time on getting our supplements in line? And, you know, for the first half of the day, everything's in check. And then as soon as the afternoon rolls around, we braai and we have beers and, you know, so, I mean, are we kidding ourselves? Are we wasting money, essentially? That's what's happening.
I don't think the focus should be on that now. So there's this article I read. It's actually, I think it's on the official CrossFit page somewhere. I saw it. And they were using the idea of like a cake. I'm sure you guys have seen it. Me? And then it's like all the different layers. So it's like the training and the exercising and the eating and whatever. And then the cherry on top is the supplement. So we don't start baking a cake at the top. So I think if you can show me that you did all the other layers exactly like you're supposed to be doing it, yes, then I think supplement does have a place. But honestly, I don't think that should be an issue for you now.
Supplements essentially is what it is. It's supplementing your diet. That's what supplement is. It says it in the word. It needs to supplement what you're doing, not take over what you're supposed to be eating. You're supposed to have the good whole stuff. And like Matt says, at this point in time of what we're going through, the last thing we should be worried about is, am I getting enough creatine and whey protein? It's money wasting, especially if you couldn't even do it in the first place.
Yeah,
exactly.
Like I think this whole period, like we spoke about just now, is like, it sounds dramatic, but like almost like a damage control period to some extent. Like,
yes,
we're not going to be on top form with regards to training. We're not going to be on top form with regards to diet. So we should probably accept that to some extent and just do the best that we can do. And then not worry about all the icing on top or the cherry on top. You know, let's just focus on, and we have to, like maybe creatine, for example. It's like, okay, I want to take creatine because I want to get stronger. Like it's okay if you're not getting stronger over the next 21 days. I mean, it's probably,
how much stronger are you going to get with a kettlebell?
Yeah,
you're going to get strong.
Even if you do have weights,
I think we're just going to maintain.
Yeah, exactly, and that's okay. Like there's no competitions coming up anytime soon. There's no major timelines with regards to performance targets we need to reach. So I think if we can all arrive back at the box after this whole lockdown period is over, and potentially be at a place where we were similar to where we left, we've done a really good job. That's a successful 21 days.
But that's the same with the eating, hey? Like I get so many patients and people asking me, messaging me like, I'm eating too much carbs, I'm doing this, I'm that. And it is a problem. It's a problem, like I said, for all of us. Even like I said, even for me, I know that it's a problem because it's not normal. But I think to just try and focus on making the better options, better choices in this time so that we don't walk out of lockdown with extra 5 kgs. Maybe we won't walk out here with less weight, but if we can just stay the same, I would be happy.
Yeah. So let's take the pressure off ourselves, you know, essentially.
Yeah. That's what I was saying. It's the first time in our lifetime that we've been told to stop doing everything and just live.
Yeah.
Basically. So quite enjoy it. Right. Just to elaborate on what we're talking about, we've got 2 questions from the guys from Durabo, from Tino and Anka. And it kind of goes into one question. Eating 5 times a day help you lose weight, and then that's from Tino, and then some advices on portion sizes and how to watch them. So it kind of can get mixed into one. What do you say to the guys that are wanting to eat 5 times a day at this time, and portion sizes? How can we watch those portion sizes?
We could probably even link in intermittent fasting. Sorry. Yeah. Okay.
So I think the 5 times a day is something that most dietitians would recommend even before the lockdown. I think that is something that we really use for weight loss, and it works in different ways. So firstly, it helps to maintain your lean body mass, and that's what we know. That's what we should be aiming for in this time, because we are sitting on the couch for longer periods and lying in bed, and I mean that could potentially make you lose the lean body mass. So that is where the eating frequently comes in. Also, it helps you to not be hungry, because that's the number one reason people cheat. And I think especially in this time is hungry and being bored. So if you know in 2 hours time I'm going to have a quick snack again, that could definitely help you to not eat the whole packet of cookies or biscuits or whatever. So the 5 times a day is definitely something that I would recommend, as long as it's healthy snacks. So not a chocolate and chips wraps and sweets and those things. Try and snack on your proteins. Like if you can get some biltong, that is an awesome snack at the moment. Just make sure it doesn't have all the extra fat on the protein shake, like Matt said earlier. Sorry, Sean. A boiled egg, maybe sardines, tuna, all of those are healthy protein snacks that we can do at the moment. Also, healthy fat snacks. So that could be like nuts or avo or anything. But again, the fat, remember, even though it's a healthy fat, it's still a fat. So the calories in there is still high. So maybe portion out, like you said. So have a small handful of nuts and you put the rest away, because that is something that you would definitely continue eating and eating if it's in front of you. So with the portions, I think we mentioned it last time as well, to pack your lunchbox. So that's the same thing. Say, okay, this is my snack 1, snack 2, but you portion it out. So if you're going to have Provitas, you have 3 Provitas, half a tin of tuna, for instance. If you're going to leave it on the table, every time you walk past it, you're going to have another Provita. And yes, Provitas are healthy, but not 12, maybe 3. Yeah, so that's something that I would say. With the portions, I think it's nice to look at your hands. So we all have our hands always with us. So if we look at like a meal, the carbs can be about the size of your fist. So like that size, can be the carbs. The protein can be the size of your palm, okay, on your pinky side. And then the veg can be a lot. So like a whole half, like 2 of your hands together like this, can be the veg for your lunch as well as your dinner. So obviously that will be different because my hands are smaller than yours, but you are a bigger person than me. So that's why using your hands is a good idea. And then almost like half of that can be a snack, sort of. So, I mean, you're not going to always have vegetables and whatever as a snack, but we can include that. So a little bit of carrot sticks maybe, or cucumber, anything like that as a snack also. And then the carbs and the protein, half of it could be a snack. Small yogurt could be a snack. Dan Pro can be a snack because there's protein in already.
Dan Pros.
Dan Pros for the win.
All of those, I think it's good ideas.
Yeah.
Dan Pros.
Cool.
I think if I can add to that, I mean, it's been covered really well. But because just tying in the intermittent fasting with that. So like, I think the myth around eating 5 meals a day, like you said, it's probably more beneficial, and I agree, but it's because it prevents us from, overeating at a later stage and all of that. It's not like we're going to go into starvation mode and then store more body fat. Like that's, I think, one myth around it that people are worried about. So that sort of ties into the intermittent fasting of, not eating for a period of 8 hours, for example, and then you've got a 16-hour window, which includes your sleep, where you can eat. And that's not a magical thing. That's just essentially consuming less calories because you've shortened the window in where to consume those calories. That's the only way that it's effective, right? So, but we all agree now, we don't think that intermittent fasting is something that should be utilized now within this 21 days.
Well, it's hard to stay disciplined in general. Now you're telling me that you're gonna now sit for 8 hours in front of your TV, and not have anything to eat because you're intermittent. You're just gonna kill. You're gonna mentally
putting too much pressure on yourself.
And another thing with the intermittent fasting, I think it could work. And I mean, there is some research showing that it can work, but I don't think in this time, because something that a lot of people and a lot of dietitians sometimes forget is, yes, we have the times that we are on and that we're off with the eating, but then where does the training fit into this? Are you going to train in the fasted state, or are you going to train in a non-fasted state? Because now we already said it's okay if you move your training sessions around, but now you haven't eaten, you're going to die.
Exactly.
So I think not the time.
Yeah, exactly. So it all ties into each other. If you're not disciplined enough to train at a certain time, then you shouldn't. Intermittent fasting is not going to be for you, irrespective.
No, definitely not. And I think like after the lockdown, it is something that someone could look into. Obviously, it should still be balanced and it should still be with a good reason. I don't think it's something that someone should do for a long period of time, but it is something that after lockdown, if you feel you have to lose some weight quickly or whatever, it's something you could do, but definitely not now.
I am, with regards to that, so talking from my experience, towards the back end of last year, myself and Matthew were obviously getting ready for the battle. We're training really, really hard with regards to the amount of sessions we were doing and the high volume that we were doing in order to get us ready for the battle. And we got exceptionally lean with regards to that, as well as our diets were very clean. And it comes down to calories in versus calories out. And right now, if we're eating 2,000 calories a day, this is just that's very mild. 5,000 calories a day because we're smashing chocolate in our face. And we are basically sedentary if we are not training, right? We are only going to burn off 1,000. You're going to gain weight. So unless our first of all, our training time and our training intensity might drop even a little bit.
Oh.
And if we are consuming high volumes of calories, like Matt says, it's a damage control situation. And at the end of the day,
the other thing
smart.
is, yeah, if you look at, like, I mean, everyone that's ever been to my practice would know the in-body scale. Nee? So I think if we just think of the results we're going to find after this 21 days, it's scary, because I think they are going to go both ways. So we are going to lose our the muscle and the good stuff because we're sitting and we're not training. Like, I'm really nervous. I'm so glad I left it at the practice and didn't bring it home, because I would get on that scale every day. So I think it's something that we are going to see afterwards, and I think it's okay. I think people must just sort of brace themselves to know that it's coming. Like, we're not going to find good results, but it could have been worse if we're not trying all these measures now.
Yeah. Talking. Yeah. Go, Matt.
No, like we touched on it in the previous topic as well, but it's about taking the pressure off yourself. Like, a lot of people who I've spoken to who are struggling through this time is like, they're almost trying to find a solution or find the way to handle things that is going to make them lose weight and get fit. And I think we have to that's how we normally think, though. That's how we normally think. That's normally our goal. Let's lose weight, let's get fit, let's get strong. I think we almost need to reprioritize and change our goals a little bit and really just
100%.
focus on saying, and I'm not saying that giving us an excuse to work less or work, less hard, but I think we'll be surprised by the amount of calories that we burning, or how many less calories we're burning compared to normal, just from, like you said, we're sitting more, 5 hours more than normal, 5 hours across 21 days, or even longer across 21 days.
Well, we were chatting yesterday, Matt, about
our recovery.
How much more recovered I felt. Our recovery rate is ridiculous at the moment because we're resting and sleeping. We're not active. Obviously, in our line of work, we are up coaching. Our sleep is shortened. Now we've got longer sleep, less activity.
On our feet as much, it's small things like that.
I feel great. And I've done a few really tough sessions. And like Matt said, I think moving the goalpost would be probably the best thing to do for yourself in this moment, knowing that I'm not going to PR my snatch anytime soon. So
yeah, I saw quite a cool post from one of the CrossFit boxes, and it said, like, obviously around that focus, but it said basically we're sitting so much more than usual, or we're so inactive compared to normal, even like walking to our car and then walking to our office and walking here. So we should, instead of just training 1 hour a day, that's not enough. We should potentially be doing an hour of exercise a day, and then make a conscious effort to every 30 minutes, just take a walk. If your house isn't too big, walk up and down 5 times or something. If you do that every half an hour, it'll
do some
make
DIY. Do some DIY. I see a lot of the guys are cranking through DIY.
Yeah, even gardening.
Just a quick one.
Yeah.
With regards to eating, we had a box, I think what Stephen had mentioned, blood type dieting with regards to your blood type. Can you shed some light on that for us with regards to that?
So, unfortunately, dietitians do not believe in any blood group diets because there's not a lot of, or not any research to actually back it up. So people do lose weight on the blood group.
Yeah.
On my blood type, so that's why I'm getting fat. Must not be about blood type.
My blood type says I'm a red meat. Oh, jeez.
Yeah, no, get another blood group diet. So I think people are definitely losing weight on it because they're cutting stuff out. So it comes back to the energy balance. If we are going to cut out the bad stuff or the bad stuff, and we eat the amount of calories that your body is actually using, or a little bit less, you will lose weight regardless of your blood group. So I think, especially again, coming down in this time, we are cutting out stuff that you should actually be eating because we need all the micronutrients. So this is not the time to be cutting out stuff and you're deficient in stuff and you're going to get sick. So eat all the different colors of the rainbow, all the different food groups, because that is what your body needs now. The more variety you get, micronutrients.
Sorry. So just to clarify, because a lot of people are going to be shocked because they thought it was it, but that blood type test does help with regards to like IBS, etc. type of vibes, with regards to what your tolerance level, not what you should and shouldn't be eating to lose weight. Am I correct?
No, so the blood group diet is something where you just see I'm O positive or O negative, and then it will tell you must eat less of the green veg, or you must eat less red meat, like Matt said. So it's nothing to test like specific diagnosis. It's nothing that you taste, well, I'm iron deficient. Yes, that I could definitely agree with. You must eat more iron foods. Also at the practice, we do amino acid testing. So that's also a blood test, but that's something completely different. That is where you test your deficiencies and you can actually fix it. But eating different foods, cutting out food groups because of a specific blood group, no.
Okay, that's helpful, yeah.
Shock horror.
Yes.
It's quite difficult at times to have this conversation with people, because they sometimes they don't necessarily ask you if this is legit. They say to you, "Oh, I've got this book," and obviously it's going to be believable because they've made books about it and that. But the research behind it is obviously.
So I always say, and I'm a little bit upfront and brash about it. This is what we do. Probably 10 hours a day in the fitness industry. Now, this is what you do. So this is your life. I'm not going to go tell an engineer what I think about if he drew a line at a different angle, if that's going to sort out the problem. Yeah. He told me that's how you do it. I'd be like, okay, cool. And I think with our industry, it's a little bit like of a gray area, that because it's my body, I know what's best. If you knew what was best, wouldn't you be in the best shape of your life?
Yeah.
That's how I see it. If you understand where I'm getting with that type of vibes.
Yeah.
So it's good that you shed light on that. And I think a lot of people are still going to not believe.
Yeah, of course. Everyone will believe.
With regards to
but I mean, the tough thing is that it works.
Yes.
Because they cut out red meat, they're therefore eating less calories, therefore they lose weight. And now all of a sudden they're telling all their friends, "Oh, blood group diet, blood group diet." Meanwhile, it's not the blood group diet, it's the restriction of calories. That's calories in versus calories out.
But it's the same with like the 28-day diet. I had so many patients on that, and they lose weight. Yeah. And then I tell them, "How did you feel on it? Did you pass out? Did you actually train?"
Is that the one where you have tired. 1 cup of coffee for breakfast, and then at lunchtime you have like?
I think so. Oh, I always say I can do the whole 28-day diet in 5 days. Easy.
No, it's not.
So it's not sustainable.
They tell you that for 28 days, do this diet, and it resets your metabolism, which has an effect of the next 10 years. I'm like, I mean, really, like, let's really think about this.
But have they done the diet for 10 years? So they don't even know the stats for that.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I normally say just check how to check if a diet is actually good or if it's just a diet. Is check, does it have an expiry date? If it's saying 28-day diet, what the hell happens on
that's a good way.
Okay. Then can you still go to a friend's house and have a braai? Yes, you're not going to eat 100% according to the meal plan or whatever you're supposed to, but you can still go. Because if you're doing 28 days, I promise you can't go. So that's a way to look at it. And then also, is it costing you more money and then it's actually saving you? Then it's also not a good idea.
Yes.
A lot of people tend to think that, yes, eating healthy is expensive, but it doesn't have to be. Fresh fruits and vegetables aren't that expensive. So that is the 3 rules.
Yeah, it's about being clever and smart choices, 100%. Good. And another thing, Chanel, what works for me won't necessarily work for someone else with regards to how I am. I'm not saying there's still the margin of calories in versus calories out. If you're putting in, you need to burn more than what you're putting in order to lose weight. It's science, basic science. However, if I'm doing something like this, for me, everyone's body is different. And they say for training, everyone's like, no, my body doesn't react to that. and Matthew can be on the same squat percentages, and he's always going to out squat me, right? It's just, it is what it is, okay? And it's the same thing with our diet or whatever the case is. I might be able to stick to a certain diet for longer than what Matthew does because I'm okay with it. I can't eat another tin of tuna.
It's just more suitable for your lifestyle than mine, for example.
100%.
Yeah, so like I told you the other day, I'm busy with this genetic course, and a lot of that, what you actually said now, is coming out in your genetics. So are you more inclined to eating frequently, or are you more inclined to eating maybe more sweet stuff or some salty stuff? That's all in your genes. But unfortunately, for us to go and test everyone's genes is impossible. I would love to do that. It would be amazing.
Yeah.
But we have to sort of have rules. Rules that will help people to sort of be healthy. So for instance, if we're taking salt, one of the guidelines of the South African food-based diet guidelines are saying don't eat too much salt. That's a general thing. It won't do anyone any harm if we are eating a little bit less salt. But there's some people with a specific gene that eating more salt is really, really dangerous to them. And for them. So for them, I would definitely say you are not allowed to have salt again anytime soon, But with people that are just sort of being healthy, it is a general rule, and that is how it is with everything. So it's a general rule: eat frequently, do this, do that, and then we can fine-tune it. But again, I don't think this next 2 weeks is the time to fine-tune everything. I think it's just now the time to survive and follow the general guidelines.
Going back to what works for you and genetics and stuff. And going back to intermittent fasting, obviously this is when things are normal. There was obviously we all know Rich Froning. If you don't know, Rich Froning is the GOAT of CrossFit, in incredible shape, not just from how he's eating, but he's probably the most consistent athlete on the planet. And he, not recently, about a year or two ago, probably about a year ago, went into intermittent fasting. You also watched that episode, Matt.
Yeah.
And he speaks about it. He has a certain routine, and he intermittent fasts. And he says, I think possibly 10 to 20 times in that in that episode, he says that's what works for me. He says he believes it. That's how he's got his energy levels, the whole truth. But just because it's the fad doesn't mean it's going to work for everyone. And I think we need to understand that diet that Matthew's doing might not work for me, and vice versa. And the same thing with regards to our training and our mental thing. What works for me, I can give you. And some people we can relate to, and other people are like, I don't know how they do that.
Yeah. And based on that now as well, Shana, I want to ask you, so in that same podcast or episode, he talks about, so he's been doing intermittent fasting, and it works for him. He does it 1 or 2 sessions fasted, eats from 12 o'clock and carries on his day.
Does a big refeed and then he trains again. Yeah.
And he talks about, is there research which shows that it helps with inflammation of joints and that? Because that's okay. Yes. So that's true there. That's true. Beneficial.
That is true. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, that's good to know as well. That's cool.
I mean, obviously, a whole bunch of people go to intermittent fasting for inflammation.
But look,
everyone with a sore knee is gonna go fasting now.
That being said, now that's different to losing weight. If your goal is to lose weight, it could be used as a different tool compared to if you're an elite athlete and you're suffering from inflammation. If you're not an elite athlete and you want to lose weight, you could potentially use that as a different tool, or potentially not do it at all because it might not benefit you. I think if you're overweight, your number one goal should be to lose weight before you try and get rid of all your inflammation, if that makes sense, because you shouldn't be trying to be an elite athlete or following Rich Froning's footsteps, if you know what I mean. Like, at that point.
Definitely. And I think inflammation for him and inflammation for me is completely different things.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I could probably manage inflammation in like a different way because it might not be that severe, and I'm training like max 3 or 4 hours on a weekend. The most, like, I'm not training that amount that he is training. So I think all of that, obviously, again, we are not the same person. I think that is important to remember. And also being overweight is also actually a state of being in inflammation. So if you can just decrease your overweightness, your inflammation will already be better. He obviously didn't have that problem.
Yeah, he's obviously from years of training and that too. Yeah. Okay.
Well, that's interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah. Well, we covered all the topics that were asked and mentioned by members. We're sitting on a fairly long, I don't know how long exactly, but fairly long video here.
Yeah.
So I think we could probably end the topic there, or end the discussion there for now. And again, we'll do another one in a couple of days, and potentially seek out some new topics and chat about it then.
Yeah, it was good, man.
I think people can on Facebook also comment on this post, maybe also if they have any questions for future, then we can.
Yes,
yeah, please, leave some comments and stuff for us so that we can ask various questions and maybe look at different areas. Maybe you want to just brush on a certain topic and maybe dwell a little bit deeper on something like that. We don't know. We want to hear what you guys have to say.
Oh, awesome! Thanks, guys.
Guys, that was lekker.
Thanks.
Chat soon.
Cheers. Don't eat cake.